As the end of October 2014 is now upon us, I find it most opportune to be addressing an audience of fellow songwriters and composers, because October is a month of resistance against police brutality and mass incarceration, called for in the United States by the Stop Mass Incarceration Network, and protests have occurred in the US and around the world, including Aotearoa. This dis-ease of police brutality is a global problem that must be wiped out, with the same type of quarantine urgency the Ebola epidemic has been receiving in the USA. And so too, with urgency, must be wiped out the overpopulating and privatization of prisons. Now, if we were living in a fascist police state, such diseases would be fitting and normal. But in a so-called westernized democratic state such as ours, such diseases, one might think, are out of place. Hence I ask of all thinking people here tonight, what type of society do we actually have? Is democracy capable of functioning fairly, equally, sanely, or humanely? And given the daily doses of police brutality, widespread corporate dishonesty and corruption, continued government theft of Māori resources, attempted secretive, dastardly government dealings such as the TPPA, along with a criminal justice system that disproportionately targets Māori, should not we be seeking its collapse and downfall? Can't hear. 2 days ago, on October the 28th, 179 years ago in 1835, the Declaration of Independence was signed between a grouping of northern chiefs and the soon-to-be colonial power in this country, Great Britain. This document announced to the world officially the sovereignty of this country, Aotearoa, and that such sovereignty resides with the indigenous people. 5 years later, the Tiriti o Waitangi reinforced this sovereignty, despite the word sovereignty appearing in the English version of the treaty in place of kāwanatanga, which means governorship, not sovereignty, in the Māori version. Thus, the settler colonial government assumed sovereignty falsely through deception. And only when the tyranny of this improper government and its attendant white privilege has ended can indigenous knowledge and aroha truly reveal itself, and sovereignty become a universally shared concept embracing te whenua and indeed all life. They knew getting to Kupu up here, I had to do a speech, so yeah, here it was. Big ups.